to Talking Supply Chain. In each episode, top supply chain industry professionals and the nation's top thought leaders join host Brian Strait and share their unique insights to help supply chain managers stay one step ahead of their competition. This is Talking Supply Chain. Global trade is becoming increasingly complicated, and businesses are caught in the middle, trying to serve their customers but also procure materials and supplies to keep their own operations running. Many have turned to B2B marketplaces to help in this process. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Talking Supply Chain podcast. I'm your host, Brian Strait, and thank you for taking a few minutes to join us for this episode. To help me untangle the state of B2B supply chains today and the impacts they're having on small businesses, I'm joined by Yikun Shao, head of B2B North American supply chain for Alibaba Group. Yikun, welcome to Talking Supply Chain.
Thank you, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Excited to get into this with you guys. Obviously, you guys have a global footprint, so I want to I think you can offer some great insight here. To get started, though, I know some people are probably familiar with Alibaba. Others may not be as familiar with it. Can you kind of talk about a little bit about yourself and the company and what you guys actually do for businesses?
Of course, Brian. I lead the supply chain function in North America for Alibaba.com. And for those of you not familiar with our platform, Alibaba.com is an online B2B e-commerce marketplace, which you can think of as an online trade show that opens 24/7.
Mhm.
We connect business buyers and suppliers globally and provide digital infrastructure as well as online solutions to facilitate and fulfill global trade orders. We provide one-stop B2B trading solutions that cover the entire value chain of cross-border trade, including sourcing, payments, logistics, and fulfillment. And since the majority of our customers are SMEs or small to medium-sized businesses or enterprises who don't necessarily have the resources readily available to tackle these complexities, we at Alibaba.com strive to empower them to achieve digital transformation and seize global business opportunities by essentially leveraging a global network of suppliers and help them connect the right supply chain partners for their business needs. About myself, I joined Alibaba.com in 2020 from a trade consulting background. In the past, I worked for PwC, a professional service firm, for about 15 years in China, Japan, and the United States, advising clients on duty planning and trade compliance issues. And since joining Alibaba.com, I've been focused on broader supply chain areas, including international shipping, logistics, and cross-border trade. That's a snapshot.
Well, it's certainly an interesting time for global shipping and trade these days. So let me start. Let's get this started with kind of a broad question, if you will. And we talk about everything that's going on with the supply chain today and global trade and tariffs and everything else that's happening. We tend to think of it in terms of big businesses. Can you kind of give your assessment of what the current state of the global supply chain is, particularly from the small and mid-sized business standpoint, and how they are competing these days?
Sure. I think to start off, the current state of global supply chains is certainly an uncertain and a volatile one.
Yes.
It's mixed with recovery, adaptation, and ongoing disruptions, as you mentioned. There is, for example, COVID-19 aftershocks, which are still evident in some sectors. There's geopolitical tensions still creating uncertainty and impacting either freight routes or costs in some regions. And there is also structural shifts or trends where businesses are diversifying their supplier base to reduce dependency on a single source or region.
Mhm.
Now, to your question specific to SMEs, the importance of the supply chain to them, I think, can be found in our Alibaba.com Global SME Confidence Index. This is a survey of more than 2,000 SMEs across France, Germany, the UK, and the US, which found that a quarter of global SMEs cited supply chain or sourcing issues, as well as stock availability, as the biggest challenges facing their business in 2025. So we can see that the focus on supply chain and sourcing issues really illustrates how many businesses are thinking of supply chain as a top priority. But when it comes to cost and access, SMEs are also facing a more challenging situation when compared with larger enterprises. Usually, those smaller businesses don't have the scale or leverage to absorb rising costs on inputs or transportation, not as well, at least, as those larger firms, and are often not being prioritized during more difficult times, such as when there are product shortages. So against that backdrop, we've also seen SMEs focus on the digital revolution in supply chain management and sourcing. So according to another recent survey of more than 1,000 US-based sourcing decision makers, almost two-thirds of SMEs say that digital sourcing is more important now compared to last year. Therefore, at Alibaba.com, we believe the digital revolution will help level the playing field for SMEs trying to compete on a global stage,
Mhm.
and we are actively developing solutions to sort of serve that need.
Yep. And it's certainly a challenging environment out there for the smaller businesses. I think when we think of the stuff that goes on the supply chain disruptions and things, we always think of them in the impact of the Walmarts, right? And the
Mhm.
targets, the big companies. But so much of our economy is driven by the smaller businesses and the medium-sized businesses. And you mentioned solutions that you guys are working on. I we'll get maybe a little bit more, but um, just recently you guys made a big announcement with Maersk, the big shipping conglomerate, about a partnership there and how it can support the mission to kind of streamline global shipping options for these smaller and mid-sized businesses. Can you talk about that partnership a little bit and how that is being set up for these businesses?
Of course. Thank you, Brian. I'm glad you noticed that. The partnership with Maersk is a strategic one where we integrated Maersk's less than container load and full container load ocean services directly into our Alibaba.com platform. This new service supports bulk shipments from 200 kilograms to 5 tons and across 8 non-hazardous good categories, including apparel, machinery, home goods, and construction materials, among others. I think it's no secret that many SMEs encounter shipping challenges such as unclear pricing and more complex processes. So this partnership aims to help our customers ship goods more easily by providing them with direct access to transparent and cost-effective shipping options. In terms of streamlining the process, business buyers, especially those smaller ones, essentially with a single click on our platform, they can reserve shipping space, they can lock in rates, and they can track shipments from factory to delivery, all provided by Maersk, which, as you mentioned, is a leading global carrier.
Yep. So, I mean, the smaller businesses, they're not necessarily uh, booking entire containers and things. I mean, is that part of
Mhm.
the option here, or are there other options available to them that can help them? I think ultimately, I mean, these businesses need to service their customers, right? I mean, it's one of the things that small and medium-sized businesses do really well, that service the customer, and it's a value that they have to be able to give to the customer,
Yeah.
right, to compete with the big guys who have price advantages. So, I mean, from that standpoint, from the booking option and the options that are available to them to get stuff moved, what's out there? How does that work?
Sure, sure. I think also, using the Maersk as an example, um, you're absolutely right. The shipping needs will vary depending on the type of customers
Mhm.
or business buyers. But since everything about the Maersk service is integrated into our platform, just to elaborate a bit, when a customer finds the product they want on Alibaba.com, they can often see the Maersk shipping solution directly on the product page. And for the covered product, based on their order quantity and the corresponding cargo size, an estimated shipping quote by Maersk will already be generated and displayed. Customers can then connect directly with Maersk's representatives through our platform to finalize a shipping solution. And when needed, they can also loop in the product supplier to help complete some critical package details. And more importantly, once a logistics order is placed, customers can manage this order again within our platform uh, to do things such as making payments or tracking the cargo. So I would summarize the key benefits of this solution as real-time pricing, secured space, and one-stop effortless process. We have, launched this service for a little over a month, and I have personally talked to some US customers who've used it, about their experience. And very glad to report that many of them found this service highly valuable, not only because of the benefits I've already outlined, but also that they found the customer service, both before and after booking, to be extremely helpful. I think it's worth mentioning that customer support is provided in tandem with the Maersk team, who,
Mhm.
as you know, are experts in global shipping. So they work with our customers or shippers step by step and make sure that all necessary caution is paid to their shipments. Some customers have already indicated long-term commitment to this solution because of their positive initial experience and strong customer support.
Yeah.
So we're very hopeful that many more customers will be able to take advantage of it.
So it's really tying everything into one place, right, for the customer to deal
Yes,
with and not have to deal with 3 or 4 or 5 different connections, businesses, et
exactly.
cetera. So I want to shift to kind of the broader supply chain at the moment. A couple questions on that, and I think I know one of these things. I'm going to ask you for what the three challenges are that North American shippers are really facing right now.
Mhm.
I think I can probably name one of them, but I'd like to hear what what you think of the three biggest things right now, and what do you kind of see for the future of those, how they evolve, and maybe get settled if necessary.
Sure, sure, of course. Yeah, you're right. I think there are quite a few tough challenges facing these shippers. I think the first and main one in my mind would be digital integration. B2B buyers are increasingly expecting the same or comparable digital experience that they typically get in B2C. Those include a wide array of diverse products, um, things like easy reordering, real-time tracking, and flexible payment options, among others. So shippers who haven't embraced digital platforms or upgraded their own digital platform really runs the risk of losing business. So from our side, we have seen more shippers turning to B2B platforms with more robust solutions or sometimes API capabilities. And there's also a growing use of intelligent tools such as chatbots, online RFQs to help streamline their customer touchpoints. And the second one to mention is I think the very rapidly advancing technology, including AI, and the challenge to stay at the forefront of the industry, or for that matter, ahead of competition. With potential threats to supply chains always looming and global sourcing becoming a larger market, we think now is also the time for businesses to closely evaluate the ways in which AI can help them make business decisions and stay ahead of potential disruptions. Leveraging AI to quickly identify and connect with potential sourcing partners is one of the many ways in which business decision makers can use technology to stay one step ahead and pivot sometimes as situations unfold. So on this trend, according also to a recent Alibaba.com survey of SMEs on our platform, nearly one quarter of decision makers view the full integration of AI as a key focus in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the constant challenge of a volatile market landscape,
Yeah.
including fluctuating transportation costs and carrier volatility. For example, fuel prices remain unstable due to sometimes geopolitical uncertainty or energy policies. Trucking capacity continues to swing, and carrier rates or surcharges have been added due to various factors in recent months. And in response to that, shippers are increasingly diversifying carriers or logistics providers and are utilizing, for example, freight marketplaces or other pricing tools to find solutions or match loads more efficiently. I think these are some of the main challenges in my mind.
Yeah. So when we talk about some of the challenges, right, that are out there, but I think I want to get your opinion on this because you mentioned it when you're talking about yourself at the very beginning here. You've worked in both in China, Japan, the U.S., and elsewhere. Can you kind of talk about how the supply chain dynamics may differ between the different markets, China, US, and what lessons that companies can take away from by learning what these differences are and how to navigate them?
Sure, sure. Thank you for asking that question, Brian. Yes, I have been fortunate to have worked in these markets directly over the last 20 or more years. In my experience, the supply chain dynamics in these countries vary significantly
Yeah.
due to, differences in policy, infrastructure, and business models, and sometimes maybe also due to cultural differences. So I think some key highlights, for example, China still possesses, in my mind, a hyper-efficient manufacturing base, which supports mass production through deeply integrated supplier ecosystems.
Mhm.
And in recent years, it's also invested a lot in digitized logistics, such as e-commerce integration, warehouse automation, and AI-driven, inventory management, for example. The US, on the other hand, features private sector innovation and rapid adoption of technology, including TMS, WMS, or logistics SaaS, and also strong regulatory compliance. I think also because the logistics network in the US is more fragmented with multiple modes and a complex web of carriers or 3PLs and warehousing providers, it is easier to build resilience through diversification.
Mhm.
And Japan is also a bit unique. Japan's dynamics emphasize, in my mind, precision, quality, and risk aversion. Everyone's familiar with Japan's just-in-time production model or approach, which during the pandemic years may have caused some issues due to insufficient risk buffers. But
Yeah.
you can't deny that it demonstrated the level of accurate planning and tight supplier coordination, which are, I think, both features of the Japanese model.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of key takeaways, as I think through these models, I think first of all, there is a common thread for digital infrastructure, in the current era, regardless of the market, digital infrastructure and data-driven decision making is key to agility in any informed business decision. But there is also not a one-size-fits-all solution. Essentially, China's scale-heavy model won't translate directly into the US's innovation-led ecosystem, or for that matter, Japan's more lean or leaner manufacturing model. So those are some of my quick takeaways.
Yeah. And I just as a follow to that, I would think, specifically speaking of like Japan and the just-in-time model, if you're a
Mm.
business in the US that is consistently buying items from Japan, then understanding that and maybe having some options should a direct disruption occur in Japan, right? Knowing that there's not a large amount of backstock, to serve you, right? So that's probably something that businesses may need to understand and have a plan for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. That is exactly the risk buffer that was not necessarily built in, and during the pandemic years, while a lot of retailers or business buyers were trying to stock up their inventory because of the volatile market and shipping market conditions, it created some issues.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of pandemic, right? I think post-pandemic, we've seen a lot of shifts in supply chains, and a lot of changes in strategy, um, mindsets shifting, nearshoring, multi-sourcing being two big ones. When you guys talk to with your customers, the small and mid-sized businesses, what are you seeing among them? How are they adapting, and what kind of strategy are they adjusting?
Sure. Yeah, Brian, you are spot on. There is a wave of strategic recalibration in the supply chain space in recent years. And one important trend we have seen in our customers is the critical step to diversify one's supply chain. It's getting abundantly clear that relying on a single supplier or even a single region, can leave you vulnerable to disruptions. So diversifying one's supply chain can, in our experience, offer a range of benefits. First and foremost, it provides flexibility in the event of disruptions, whether it's due to geopolitical issues, natural disasters, or even delays at a single supplier or a demand spike in a certain market. Having a diverse network of sourcing partners means you can quickly pivot.
Right.
If one supplier faces delays, you can turn to another, minimizing the impact on your business. And from a customer perspective, this is also crucial because consumers today expect fast, reliable delivery. If your supply chain falters, it can lead to delays, disappointing customers, and potentially lost business. So by diversifying, you keep the flow of products steady, helping to meet those high expectations for swift delivery. And also, a diverse supply chain can also open up opportunities for innovation and scaling. When you work with multiple partners, you have the flexibility to introduce new products more easily or scale up production to meet spikes in demand. Essentially, you are creating a system that is not only more resilient, but also more adaptable and agile to seize new business opportunities. So from what we have seen and learned, the strategy to diversify supply chains helps ensure continuity and keep customers satisfied and positions the smaller businesses to grow.
Yeah. I want to move to this topic. I mean, tariffs, right? I mean, it's all the rage right now. Tariffs and trade, and we can do an entire podcast just on that, for probably the last 8 hours. But I did want to get your take on it from the small and medium-sized business standpoint. There have been a lot of turmoil, obviously, in the markets around the world because of what the U.S. is doing with tariffs. But one thing that kind of went under the radar last week was the announcement that they were ending the de minimis exemption for shipments under $800, which exempted them from tariffs and import duties and things like that. So, what I want to ask you, though, about these things is what impact do you see these two policies changes having on the small and mid-sized business? And how can a business like Alibaba help the smaller businesses kind of mitigate these impacts or at least manage through them?
Sure. Yeah, this is certainly a hot topic, and I'd agree with you that the tariff announcement made last week and the days after were beyond the expectations of many. And you're right. While the amendments to duties apply to low-value imports, or otherwise known as the de minimis exemption, that attracted less attention. It is going to have some significant impact, especially on e-commerce imports. And you probably also noticed that last night, the executive order on the so-called reciprocal tariffs and de minimis policies for Chinese products have been updated to reflect higher rates as well. So for our business, I think first to call out, which is focused on B2B trade, the impact of de minimis policy is less significant than B2C businesses,
Okay.
since our orders are typically in larger quantities and higher values. But overall, high import tariffs will certainly play into the behaviors and decisions of smaller business buyers and larger ones alike.
Right.
In yeah, I think in that respect, like any supply chain disruptions, new tariff policies will add another layer of complexity to an already intricate global supply chain. And this additional layer will force businesses to reevaluate their sourcing strategy and ensure that they are maximizing their financial resources while still being able to source quality products. So what we at Alibaba.com aim to do is to help our customers undertake a comprehensive analysis of all factors, including tariffs, when making a sourcing decision. This approach includes offering duty calculation and compliance tools on our platform.
Mhm.
It includes expanding, which we have been doing, expanding global supplier base for buyers to diversify sourcing. As I mentioned, we've realized the importance of that for quite some time now. And also it includes providing expert help to both buyers and suppliers in the US and globally to navigate the complexity of cross-border trade. I think this way, as a bottom line, our customers can maximize their resources and achieve relative advantage in spite of the broader market or policy circumstances. And eventually, this will help their operations survive and thrive.
So you're making it easy for them to see the impacts and see choices that they have available to
Right,
them, in essence, right? Yeah.
right.
Um, One of the challenges I think that exists for a company such as you, you're trying to service a large business base, right? I mean, and these are
Mhm,
businesses from mom and pop businesses to hundreds of employees, for instance. So as you guys look and as Alibaba goes out and starts building solutions for this for your customers, how do you approach the building of the platform level solutions that make them accessible to all the business sizes and scalable for the small ones when they want to as they grow? Especially those businesses maybe that are kind of new to international trade and buying overseas.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's a great question. I think I would address it in two different ways. First, like you said, we develop our solutions with the goal of simplifying global trade and sourcing so that anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And to achieve this goal, we develop our platform level solutions by leveraging the extensive knowledge of our Alibaba.com teams and the seemingly endless existing resources available to supply chain decision makers. I want to give an example of an AI-powered tool, which is called Axial.
Mhm.
It's a search engine that we launched at the end of 2024. This is a powerful tool designed to help small businesses in Europe and the Americas source suppliers, and it uses natural language processing to enhance search capabilities, enabling SME buyers to sort of intuitively find the products that they need. And it is, in terms of training, this B2B search engine catalogs millions of suppliers worldwide, spanning over 7,600 product categories, and has been rigorously trained on more than 200 million trade industry specific parameters. So by using industry specific data and multilingual capabilities, it delivers targeted marketing sites and sourcing strategies to users. So we were heartened to see that a few months after launch, Axial reached a significant milestone by surpassing 1 million users in March. And
Wow.
we continue to roll out new features such as business research and deep search functions. So I think this example, it highlights our commitment, in using technology to empower smaller businesses. And another key element of how we deliver platform level solutions that are accessible and scalable for a variety of SMEs is by addressing needs that all SMEs have in common.
Yeah.
For example, many small businesses face delicate financial situations that make essentially every dollar extremely valuable. So, understanding that finances are crucial to a business success and the cost of international trade can, for those smaller businesses, really turn one issue into a make or break moment. With that in mind, we launched the Alibaba Guaranteed program last year, which offers SMEs, for example, products at fixed prices with shipping fees included, promised dispatch time of goods within 72 hours, delivery by an expected date or time frame, and also after sales services such as quick money back for order issues and free local returns for defects.
Yeah.
So in this second example, while the products that SMEs are ordering on our platform may be widely or wildly different, the importance of financial security and the peace of mind that they seek when conducting international sourcing is universal. So understanding the importance of these mandates and securing finances for them or addressing these common challenges for them would allow us to deliver products that work for SME customers with any degree of experience in international trade.
Yeah. I want to get one more question in here, one final question, and I always like to end kind of with an advice question, right? Because I want the people listening to take away something, and what can I do kind of approach here, on what we talked about today. So I think two things that all businesses, regardless of their size, kind of deal with today is how to kind of future-proof their operations. Edit, I'm not sure I know how to do that. Anybody knows how to do that today? But given what's going on, but also digital platforms and leveraging digital platforms today. So, what advice can you give listeners on ways that they may be able to try to future-proof their operations and invest in and leverage digital platforms for their long-term success?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, again, I certainly agree with you that securing supply chain is essential for the long-term success of any growing business. And I think in our experience, there are a few key strategies that we'd recommend to professionals in this space. First, I think it is crucial to constantly evaluate your supply chain operations. In today's fast-paced, ever-changing world, supply chain disruptions and shifting customer trends can occur at essentially any time. So businesses need to stay nimble and adaptable to thrive. So regularly assessing the efficiency of your processes and operations, identifying potential vulnerabilities, and looking for opportunities to optimize will keep you better prepared to face challenges and capitalize on new opportunities. Another key point is maintaining positive relationship with your suppliers.
Mm.
Building and nurturing strong relationships can offer significant advantages in sometimes. For example, suppliers are more likely to offer minimum order quantity that work for your business. Provide customization options to help differentiate your products and be flexible with pricing and payment terms. These relationships also enable you to quickly source and introduce new products to the market, which is, again, critical in keeping up with consumer expectations. And also, as a digital marketplace, I think in today's tech-driven world, it is important to leverage the tools available to you. AI-powered solutions like the Axio or the AI sourcing agent, that I mentioned can really help streamline critical processes like identifying suppliers, negotiating prices, and managing orders. These tools not only make decision-making faster, but also frees up your team's time, allowing you to really focus your resources or sometimes limited resources on more important aspects of growing your business. So I think these are certainly important, but also never underestimate the power of networking with other business decision makers.
Yeah.
Engaging with your peers and learning from their experiences can often spark new ideas for improving your supply chain operations. And it also provides a support system and a knowledge system that can help you adapt quickly in the face of disruptions. So I
Yeah.
think these are all things that will be helpful to sort of future-proof your supply chain, regardless of the situation.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned networking and relationships as part of that, because I think that's so important, and I know a lot of people do believe these things are very important. And if it's a transactional nature, and I'm just a customer number, to my
Mhm.
supplier, I'm probably not going to get a good deal, or be able to work through issues that I may be having with my supplier, as opposed to if I'm Brian to the supplier, right? And they know who I am, and there's communication and back and forth flow of free thinking and ideas and working together, right? And
Right.
I mean, they're more willing to work with Brian than they are a customer number. So
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And this exchange of ideas can be also instrumental in staying ahead of the industry trends and finding, innovative solutions to these supply chain
yeah,
challenges.
yeah. Thank you, Equin. We're out of time. I think for the listeners out there, if anybody wants to get in touch with Alibaba to discuss the services, you guys, what's the best appropriate approach for them to do to get in touch with the company?
Sure. For anyone who's interested in connecting about our supply chain services, you can easily find me on LinkedIn by my name, Yikun Shao, and feel free to follow or send a connection request there, and I can direct you to other team if necessary for any services or questions that you may have.
Yep. Great. Thank you. We are out of time. Thank you so much. I want to thank my guests today, Yikun Shao of Alibaba Group, and all of you who took time to listen today. We greatly appreciate your attention and your willingness to share your time with us. New episodes of Talking Supply Chain come out on Thursdays. You can find them on scmr.com or wherever you get your podcasts. So be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, this is Brian Straight, and you've been listening to Talking Supply Chain. Talking Supply Chain is produced by Supply Chain Management Review and Peerless Media. You can find it on scmr.com, supplychain247.com, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. For more information on this topic or to sign up for our weekly newsletter, a print or a digital subscription to our publication, visit scmr.com. We hope you will join us for our next episode. For Supply Chain Management Review, I'm Brian Straight, and thank you for listening.